Now at 6, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for the news at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Bridget Bjorlo. It's being called one of the largest prisoner swaps between the United States, its allies, and Russia since the end of the Cold War.
Former U.S. Marine Paul Whelan and Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich were among the prisoners who've been released in exchange for setting free Russian prisoners held by the United States and countries throughout Europe. Altogether, 16 political prisoners, journalists, and others were swapped for 8 Russians being held in the U.S., Germany, Norway, Slovenia, and Poland. The deal to free the 24 prisoners was the culmination of months of negotiations.
It says a lot about the United States that we work relentlessly to free Americans who are unjustly held around the world. It also says a lot about us that this deal includes the release of Russian political prisoners. That's who we are in the United States. We stand for freedom, for liberty, for justice, not only for our own people, but for others as well.
And this is the biggest prisoner exchange between the U.S. and Russia since the fall of the Soviet Union.
And reactions are pouring in tonight from Connecticut's congressional delegation.
Fox 61 political reporter Emma Wolfhorst spoke with federal lawmakers. And Emma, what are they saying about this prisoner swap?
Well, Brent, Bridget, they're obviously praising the release of American citizens they say were wrongfully imprisoned in Russia, but they also acknowledge these sorts of deals come with mixed emotions. Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy put out a statement earlier today calling this a huge relief, saying, quote, their families have been put through hell for far too long, and I'm thrilled they are soon to be reunited with their loved ones. This is a huge diplomatic success for the Biden-Harris administration and the officials who tirelessly led tough negotiations. Congressman Jim Himes, who serves on the House's Intelligence Committee, says these sorts of exchanges can be difficult as people work to balance the joy of seeing loved ones released with knowing those who Himes says are not innocent people get to go home too.
These prisoner swaps are always a schizophrenic combination of absolute elation that unjustly held people have been freed. In this case, Evan Gershkovich, the Wall Street Journal reporter, just a little while ago, it was Brittany Griner. Before that, I had actually a constituent, Murad Tabaz, who was unjustly held in Tehran. And so you celebrate, obviously, that we'll go to the mat to return people innocent people who have been unjustly kidnapped by appalling regimes. On the other hand, it's hard to feel 100% good about this because when we trade good and innocent people to get them back, inevitably we're sending them people that are international terrorists, that are not innocent people wrongly held. Every time it happens, you celebrate the return of good people, but you sort of got to keep in the back of your mind that there's an ugly side to this too, which is that you're negotiating with terrible people like Vladimir Putin.
And as we said, 8 of those released from Western nations are Russian nationals who will be returning back to their country. One of those, Vadim Krasikov, was convicted in Germany in 2021 of killing a former Chechen rebel. Turkey facilitated today's historic transfer. It surpasses a deal struck back in 2010 for 14 people, where 10 Russians living in the U.S. as sleepers were freed. Brent, Bridget.
All right, Emma, thank you very much. A lot to watch on that front. And turning to the weather now, another hot and muggy day. That's why we are weather impact right now.
Yeah, Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank joining us now. Rach, we're going to actually turn the temperature up a little bit, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going to feel it again for sure as we head into the day tomorrow. So the heat index today has been between 95 to near triple digits. We're still a few degrees shy of triple digit heat indices right now for Windsor Locks. And we're going to do it all over again on Friday. So whatever you did to stay cool today, copy and paste for tomorrow. Here's a look at current temperatures. We're in the mid 80s to right around 90 degrees. And we've got that weather impact alert through about 8 or 9 o'clock tonight before temperatures drop back enough for you to help cool yourself off. And then heading into the day tomorrow, we'll do it all over again. So we have a weather impact alert in effect from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's when temperatures will be the hottest. Once again, we'll see highs approaching 90 degrees with a heat index between 95 to 100. What do you need? I mean, this is a no-brainer because we've been doing it, right? We're very used to it at this point, but make sure you're hydrating, spending some time inside inside in the AC if possible, taking frequent breaks from that sun. Nothing on the radar right now. There is a chance for an isolated shower, overnight lows near 70. And then here we go again on Friday with the chance for an isolated afternoon or evening shower or storm. A better chance for storms this weekend. We'll talk timing coming up.
All right, Rachel, I'll talk with you soon. Thank you. New information tonight about a deadly crash in Vernon involving a moped. Police say Luis Rodriguez was riding that moped last night in the area of Hartford Turnpike and Dobson Road when he was hit by a vehicle. He later died from his injuries. Police say the driver did remain at the scene, is cooperating with police. Anyone with any information, though, should call the Vernon Police Department.
A man faces charges after allegedly driving the wrong way on Route 8 to leave the scene of a crash in Torrington. Police say the crash happened near exit 46 yesterday. They say Timothy Serbeck hit a Jeep while trying to change lanes. The Jeep remained unseen, but police say Serbeck took off driving northbound on the southbound side of Route 8. He was taken into custody a short time later. We spoke with a man who witnessed the crash, even capturing it on his dash cam.
So after he passed by, I looked in my rear view to make sure he didn't hit anyone behind me, because that was my first thought, was who's next. Just thankful to be here, because it was, like I said, had he not high beamed me, it would have been a different story tonight, unfortunately.
Now, Serbeck was released on $5,000 bond. He's due back in court later this month.
New tonight, Governor Ned Lamont giving Connecticut law enforcement brand new tools to solve crimes. Police departments now have expanded access to national forensic gun data, giving agencies direct access to the system that collects and stores national information. Experts say it allows departments to share ballistic evidence in real time, which could potentially help catch shooters faster.
Let me be clear. We are organized and we are coming after shooters.
Connecticut leaders say it's a smarter way of fighting crime by giving police departments expanded access to a national forensic gun database and helping link one violent incident to another.
We have done this utilizing NIBIN, which is the National Integrated Ballistic Information Network, which provides a correlation. And what that correlation does is it links firearms to actual crime scenes and crime scenes to other crime scenes that were unrelated or unknown previously.
The technology also helps law enforcement agencies work together by sharing key evidence.
NIBIN has really helped us with is one, identifying commonalities between cases, two, identifying patterns, and three, establishing very strong leads.
And already this summer, police say direct use of the computer network proved to be an effective tool for investigators in New Haven.
You know, last week we had a rash of violence, several people shot in the city, and within a 24-hour window we were able to say, you know, at least 2 cases are connected through ballistics within the city and connected to a case outside of the city.
The goal being to speed up the investigation process and get violent criminals off the street before another shooting occurs.
So what that does for the investigators are they're able to have conversations with their victims who are cooperative and ask the question, you know, there was a shooting on the other side of town. You know anything about it? And probably if NIBIN wasn't in play, they wouldn't have asked that question.
Right now, there are more than 5.7 million pieces of ballistic evidence currently stored in the database. And in the last 25 years, investigators have used it to generate more than 640,000 leads.
So you use a gun in a crime in Connecticut, it's a lot more likely we're going to catch you, hold you accountable, and you'll pay the price.
That's what it's all about, bringing shooters to justice. Before this, police departments had to go through the state to process evidence into the system. Direct access is expected to save time and bring forth new leads for investigators.
Officials hit the streets in the capital city today in an effort to curb violence. Mayor Aruna Naralampulam was joined by Hartford's interim police chief to walk the beat on Albany Avenue. The city recently brought back walk beats in a few downtown areas. Officials hoping stepping up these kinds of walks will help build relationships between law enforcement and residents.
Our police officers care so deeply about this city. They're so hardworking, and as residents get to meet them person to person, we think it's going to make such a huge impact on the feeling of safety in communities like this.
Officers are assigned to their same beat every shift. Right now, the focus is in the north and the south ends of the city.